Hello, I'm David Harper with the BBC News. The United States has denounced comments by Israel's far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich, who had called for the Palestinian village of Huwara to be wiped out by the State of Israel. The village in the occupied West Bank was the scene of a rampage by Jewish settlers on Sunday, in which homes were burned and a Palestinian was killed after the earlier killing of 2 Israelis. Ned Price is the US State Department spokesman.
These comments were irresponsible, they were repugnant, they were disgusting, and just as we condemn Palestinian incitement to violence, we condemn these provocative remarks that also amount to incitement to violence. We call on Prime Minister Netanyahu and other senior Israeli officials to publicly and clearly reject and disavow these comments.
Greece's Prime Minister has blamed what he called tragic human error for the country's worst rail disaster. Kyriakos Mitsotakis earlier visited the site of Tuesday's head-on collision between 2 trains. He promised to get to the bottom of the incident. Officials say at least 43 people died, many of them young adults. One survivor, Giannis Antonoglu, said it had taken some time for emergency services to arrive.
As soon as I got off the train, maybe 10 minutes after the crash, I went on foot to the front, to the first carriages, which were completely totaled and on fire. And on that spot, it was essentially only about 5 of us, and by of us I mean passengers, helping another 5 injured people on the ground for at least an hour before the official help came. And by official help, I mean the point of time where the ambulances arrived and managed to pick them up.
More than half of Argentina has been left without power after a fire affected the national electricity grid. The capital, Buenos Aires, other major cities and large swathes of the countryside are wholly or partly affected. The fire reportedly started in open fields, affecting high-tension power lines. More than 100 girls have been admitted to hospital in Iran with symptoms of poisoning after another spate of suspected gas attacks on girls' schools there. President Ebrahim Raisi has instructed the Interior Minister to immediately find the cause of the attacks. Feranak Amidi has the latest.
BBC Persian verified a number of videos showing parents rushing to schools to find their children as ambulances pulled up outside. In nearly every video, a parent or a child said they had been poisoned. The capital city, Tehran, saw a number of schools targeted, but the cities of Kermanshah and Ardabil in western Iran were also attacked. One parent living in a suburb of Tehran told me they had no trust in authorities to find the suspects.
You're listening to the latest world news from the BBC. New York City has agreed to pay just over $21,000 each to hundreds of demonstrators who were penned in by police during racial justice protests in 2020. It follows a lawsuit brought by 5 of the demonstrators who accused officers of a brutal response to the protests that followed the murder of George Floyd. The Romanian Prime Minister has introduced his latest government advisor to the public, Ion, an artificial intelligence assistant that he says is the first of its kind anywhere. Nicolae Ciucă said Ion would scan social networks to give the government data on what the Romanian public are thinking. Analysis shows that last year's NASA mission to change the course of an asteroid by smashing into it with a spacecraft was surprisingly successful. Time-lapse video reveals that when the probe, travelling at 6 kilometres a second, collided with the asteroid, it caused the space rock to speed up its orbit 4 times more than predicted. The impact shot 1,000 tonnes of rubble into space. Ornithologists are celebrating the sighting of a dusky tetraca, a yellow-throated songbird native to Madagascar, which was feared to have become extinct. The bird had not been seen since 1999. Tracy Bircham reports.
The dusky tetraca was once on the top 10 most wanted lost birds list after eluding scientists for 24 years. Now, 3 of the rare ground-dwelling songbirds have been sighted in recent weeks during an expedition into the remote rainforests of northeast Madagascar. Excited ornithologists say the discovery may cause a rewriting of textbooks, as the birds were seen on rocky banks by mountain streams, not previously thought to be its natural habitat. Scientists say this may explain why they haven't been seen or indeed heard for so long, as the sound of rushing water would have drowned out the birds' calls. The expedition team found them in 2 separate locations on the Masoala Peninsula and near Andapa.
BBC News.